There are 13 written questions from members of the public. A copy of the questions and answers have been printed, given to the questioners and circulated around the chamber. Just to remind members of the public that our procedures only allow for 30 minutes of public participation, so let us move on. I don't know whether we've got the microphone now, have we not, or not?
No.
No. So can I ask Stephanie, I will call people forward, and the first question is from Mr. Charlie Kay, and Councillor Crowe has given a written reply. Does Charlie have a supplementary question?
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Councillors. It's a follow-up question. I'm aware that people might not have had the time to read the original, my fantastic original question. So it is a follow-up question from the original question. And the original question, there is a bit of a typo. It's the health and safety of 5G. Not mobile technology, but 5G technology. So, and apologies if my follow-up question does sound rather harsh, but it's meant to have some sort of effect. So my follow-up question to the original question, if you haven't had time to read it, is why are you, the rather hot councillors in the room, now knowing that Public Health England and the World Health Organization are relying on information from a compromised agency, which is the International Commission on Non-Ionising Radiation Protection, which is the ICNIRP, knowing that there will soon be in place 20,000 satellites in low orbit emitting 4 million watts of phased array microwave radiation on us, the lovely people of Devon and elsewhere, not doing your due diligence and looking into independent, and I stress independent, research into 5G. Thank you, Councillors. Chair.
Councillor Crowe, do you have an answer to that, please?
You're very kind, Chair. Yes, thanks for that. Again, as we said in the original answer, the County Council is not involved with the planning set-up. It is a district council responsibility. As far as I know, we do not lend out our street lights either to technology. We do go by the Public Health England's guidelines on this particular thing. We have to. And that's really all I've got to say, Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you. The second question is from, I hope I pronounced this right, Zdenka Batstone on the roller to 5G. Councillor Crowe has given a written reply. Do you have a...
Not here.
No reply, not here. The third question is from Mr. Nick Turner on the 5G network and guidance from Public Health England. Councillor Crowe has given a written reply. Does Mr. Turner have a supplementary question?
Yes, I do. According to independent experts, there are no safe exposure levels. They acquired their information from IGNR, which is over 20 years out of date, and is based on thermal warming effects. There are now thousands of reports of damage occurring at a lot lower level of exposure. Thank you.
Any comments, Councillor Crowe? I didn't quite hear a question on that.
I didn't hear any question, Mrs. Chairman. But again, I suppose I've got to go back and say, well, thanks very much anyway. And just to say that I've got nothing to add to my original, to the first question.
Okay. Then the fourth question is from Mrs. Wells on the 5G appeal petition, calling for an independent study regarding EMFs and its risks. Councillor Crowe has given a written reply. Does Mrs. Wells have a supplementary question?
I do. Good afternoon. Regarding my original letter, where I went into details about being concerned about children's health from nursery age through to university age, Whilst I deeply applaud the energy of the Devon Youth Parliament, and I recognise that they have raised awareness regarding health issues, mental health and environmental issues, I would like to ask Devon County if they know, and I realise they're not responsible for the infrastructure for masts, that relies on district councils, but I would like to know if anyone in Devon County knows how many masts, base stations and antennae are actually on the buildings belonging to nurseries, schools and colleges or in close proximity to them, when the guidance from the World Health Organization, Public Health England and ICNA is flawed and not independent of the telecommunications industry. I would stress that these young people fighting to provide themselves with a secure, safe future in Devon need to know that they are being held safe in the environments where they are studying and living. Thank you.
Councillor Crowd, any comment? Question 5 is from Ms Harvey on pre-planning investigation prior to planning application for 5G infrastructure. Councillor Crowe has given a written reply. Does Ms Harvey have a further question?
Yes, I do. Thank you. In light of the serious public concerns from many people, once they actually find out some information about 5G, there's very little public information about 5G. Do you not feel, as a county council responsible for our health, I have 3 children, that you need to do also personal research into 5G and look, for example, at the 5G appeal? And anecdotally, I was just speaking to a former Vodafone employer who's worked on seamless connectivity using 5G, and he said, in his experience, it's dangerous, it's untested, and there is much evidence out there about the serious health effects it could have on all life. Thank you.
Councillor Harvey? Councillor Crowe? The 6th question is from Mrs Climie on decision-making on 5G before investigation into health consequences. Councillor Cole has again given a written reply. Does Mrs Climie have a supplementary question?
No supplementary question. I just reinforce what my colleagues to the side have said already.
Thank you very much. The 7th question is from Joanna Wakefield on the Princess Hay City Bee project and protection of bees from 5G radiation. Councillor Crowe has given a written reply. Does Ms Wakefield have a supplementary question?
I'd like to say that this concerns me greatly. There are numerous scientific studies and reports showing that EMF seriously affect all insects, bats, our birds and our bees, let alone our children and their babies. It has been said that if there are no bees, we are 4 years from the extinction of mankind.
Councillor Crowe, do you have any comment on that?
Well, I didn't hear a question, but I'm quite clear the lady wanted I think we all recognise the importance.
The 8th question is from Mr Wilson on assurances on examinations of peer-reviewed studies related to the biological effects of 5G frequencies. Councillor Crowd has again written a reply. Does Mr Wilson have a supplementary question?
Yes, I do. Is Councillor Crowd aware there are no safe limits for radio frequency radiation? It's a dose-response effect. The more radiation, the more damage. And I'm speaking as a medical scientist who's had some experience with ionising radiation, and no one would argue that ionising radiation has a safe limit anymore, and the same is found for this. Just one brief example, as long ago as 1975, it was found that radio frequencies such as in mobile phones, and 5G is going to be an intensification of this, that the membranes in the brain lose calcium ions, which means they become leaky. And when those membranes become leaky, all sorts of bad things happen. The brain becomes overloaded. You can get things like a loss of concentration. You can get ADHD. You can get DNA damage. DNA damage leads to cancer. So, also, it could lead to Alzheimer's, early dementia. All these things are on the rise. And I'm convinced it's to do with an increase of radio frequency radiation. If you increase the density of radiation with 5G transmitting stations every few hundred metres, you are going to be exposing us to a lot more radiation, and you are going to be in breach of the Nuremberg Code because you're going to be doing a medical experiment without permission.
Could we have a question, please, because you're holding up other people as well?
The question was, is Councillor Crowd aware that there is no safe limit for radio frequency radiation?
Councillor Crowd? No. Thank you. The 9th question is from Ms. Orgenthala. A moratorium on 5G and applying the principle of precaution. She has had a written reply. Will she get a supplementary question?
Yes, thank you. So we are your neighbours here. We're all in this together. And all of us here, we're asking all of you to please hear us. It's not just on the shoulders of this lovely gentleman over there. It's something for all of us. It's really important. If we end up in the oncology department, all of us, none of us can have this conversation anymore. We need to talk about 5G now. It's very important. It's urgent. Please open your hearts. Think of your children, your grandchildren, of everyone you love, and please seriously consider what we're talking about. I've got a petition with me. 1,000 residents of Exeter and Devon have signed it. 1,000 of us have signed. Please invoke the precautionary principle on the rollout of 5G until independent studies can prove that it is safe. At the moment, no independent studies are out there that are proving this. Please hear us on this. As county councillors, you have the authority to invoke the precautionary principle, and other counties have done it. It's happening around the world. You would not be the first ones. County Clare in Ireland has invoked it. Please let County Devon be next. Thank you.
Councillor Crowell, do you have any comment, please?
Only just
The 10th question is from Mr Moore on testing existing 2, 3 and 4G microwave radiation levels and independent metering, recording of electromagnetic frequency levels. He has had a written reply. Does Mr Moore have any supplementary questions?
Yes, I do. Thank you. I would just like to say that the answer that I was given didn't actually respond to my point. I'm just going to ask again. I was wondering if the members can assure me under the Council's constitution to protect our community and even under personal legal liability of whether independent metering recording of electromagnetic frequency levels has taken place, because I'm actually electromagnetic sensitive and I feel the negative health effects as I walk around this county or anywhere. I had to leave Bristol. It got so polluted there for me, it created cancer on my back and other health issues. I stand here today on this beautiful day, not here because I want to be, because I have to be, because my world is getting smaller the more of this radiation goes out. And I'm just wondering, where can I find the proof that this is within safe levels? Even if it is ignorant levels, can you prove it to me? Can you prove it to us? Because, I mean, it's not safe. Ignorance isn't safe levels for me already. It's already caused me harm. So I really wish and hope that the Council listens to this, to what we're doing here today, and really helps us all to avoid the harm that's caused by this and live in a much more healthier world. Thank you for your time.
Councillor Crowd, any comments?
Yes, thank you, Chairman. I'm really sorry that the gentleman has been affected in this way. Really, that's I think in the line of thinking,
the 11th question is from Mrs Marcus on disclosure of information with telecommunications companies or mobile network operators regarding 5G rollout. Again, Councillor Crowd has given a written reply. Does Mrs Marcus have a further question?
Oh, I completely forgot about that. Hello everyone. This isn't easy for me especially, to come here today and to talk to so many people about this really serious issue of 5G in Exeter, but in the wider part of Devon. And I am really reiterating my original question because I don't really feel that that was adequately answered. The mobile telecommunication companies are telling us that they are actually rolling out 5G across Exeter, particularly at the moment, and it will be happening, as we know, from next year, from 2020 in Exeter. And this 5G is a known toxin and a pollutant regarding biological effects, reiterating all the effects that have been mentioned previously regarding our health and the biodiversity as well of Devon and the wider nation. And this, I don't know if anyone's looked at any of the scientific research that Dr. Martin Powell, PhD, has produced. If you haven't, I would really ask you to go and have a look at what he is saying with regards to the negative health implications with the rollout of 5G. My question is, why is it that you appear to be apparently ignoring your responsibility regarding your duty of care to the public and the people of Devon regarding this very serious matter of 5G?
Councillor Crowd, any comment, please?
Mike, Roger.
don't move.
Sorry, Chairman. My colleague here has just ruined my microphone. So I come up now as Stuart Barker, so it's his fault. So he'll get the blame for it. I can only say once again, Chairman. I can only say once again, Chairman, is the fact that if they're rolling out 5G in Exeter, then Exeter City Council should be aware of it and should be made aware of the fact that we have people that have serious questions about the veracity of the network. Thank you.
The 12th question is from Ms Brooking on guidelines for limiting exposure to time-varying electric, magnetic and electromagnetic fields and declaring a moratorium on the rollout of 5G technology. Again, Councillor Crowell has given a written reply. Does Ms Brooking have a further question?
Hello, thank you for allowing us to be here this afternoon. I found it a little ironic that we prayed for the planet and we allowed young people, or we gave them the opportunity to come and talk to us about their wishes for the future, and here we are at the same time debating should we bring in this technology which potentially could do a lot of damage to the public health. And also, that damage is going to cost you in your pockets. Mr Crowe, can you hear me? Perfect. I'd like to ask you, or actually I'd like to discuss with you the point that you could stop this. Other councils around the country have stopped this, as the good lady here pointed out. So why can't we stop it? That's my question. It's not good enough to say I can't, because how did the other councils manage to do it if we can't? This council.
Councillor Crowe.
Well done. Thank you. I'm back on. Well, I don't think we can. We're not a planning authority. Again, I have to say, once again, the district councils are responsible for planning, and that's their responsibility under those circumstances. All we can do from our point of view is to make sure at this moment, to my certain knowledge, that we don't provide any base on our street furniture for any technology. That's it, Chairman. Thank you.
The last question is from Ms Simmons on 5G implementation. Councillor Crowe has given a written reply. Does Ms Simmons have a further question?
Thank you. Your slogan, which I saw only yesterday on the back of a Devon County Council vehicle, says improving life for all. If that is so, then please can councillors advise what information they have used to arrive at the conclusion that 5G will improve life for all, given that improving life for all must include the health, safety and well-being of the citizens exposed to this technology? What information have they used to arrive at the decision that 5G is a safe technology, to roll out to the public where that information was sourced, how that information was funded? Finally, what health, safety and risk assessments has Devon County Council conducted or relied upon in order to inform this decision? Thank you.
Councillor Crowe.
Yeah, I'm afraid I do appreciate the public's disquiet in this particular instance. Again, the question is they're all the same question, I have to say, in many respects. And again, I can appreciate the public's disquiet, but I have to say once again, we are not the planning authority, and we do not provide base for any technology on our street furniture, Chairman. Thank you.
Well, first, from the Chair, I'd like to thank the presenters and for their comments, their questions, and I know for a fact that the councillors here have listened to what you've had to say, but as Councillor Crowe said, a lot of this is out of our hands and it's down to the district authorities on planning matters, but I do thank you for all your questions and comments, and they will be obviously being taken on board by the councillors. Thank you very much for coming.